In this episode of the Geek Fiction Multiverse, we see how the guest characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate don't need the Super Smash Bros. Games to be connected to Mario. Hi everyone, John here. In past Geek Fiction Multiverse episodes, we looked at how Star Trek and Star Wars are within the same multiverse of fiction, and we most recently did the same with Mega Man and Astro Boy. And similar to the video you're watching now, we've also seen how many video game characters are within 6 degrees of separation from Super Mario. In each of these past videos, one of the most common intermediate steps is one of the Super Smash Bros. Games. It's easy enough to see why, as the series crosses over many of Nintendo's main franchises, and even some lesser known ones, and has even expanded to include numerous guest characters, which are video game characters from other popular franchises that are not published or developed by Nintendo. These include Konami's Solid Snake from Metal Gear, Square Enix's Cloud from Final Fantasy, and Capcom's Ryu and now Ken from Street Fighter, and more. So obviously, they all have a chance to meet each other in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But, and this is a challenge that is sort of in contrast to most of my past videos, can I show how these characters are connected to the Nintendo universe without using Super Smash Bros. At all? Well, just like before, I just have to prove that they can all be connected to Mario. In fact, I think connecting them to Mario is actually easier than connecting other Nintendo mascots to Mario. So let's dive back into the Geek Fiction Multiverse, but this time without using Super Smash Bros. We'll start with the easy ones first. Pac-Man, 1 degree. More than just a dot-gobbling pizza, Namco's Pac-Man is a massive icon in gaming history since the 1980s, so it's almost weird that, at least as far as I know, he and Mario didn't meet before the 21st century. Pac-Man races Mario in Mario Kart Arcade GP, released in 2005, but if Mario's voice alone counts, he was the announcer for the 2003 GameCube and GBA game Pac-Man Vs., which, by the way, you should definitely play if you want an example of asymmetric gameplay done right. Pac-Man Vs. was also developed by the creator of Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto himself. Sonic the Hedgehog, 1 degree. In the 1990s, Sega's wisecracking and speedy blue hedgehog mascot gave Mario a fair bit of competition. Speaking of fair competition, Sonic competes against Mario in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and they compete again and again in numerous Olympic Games since. Now, how about an actual adventure featuring these two, outside of Super Smash Bros.? Mega Man, 2 degrees. Mega Man is the other blue hero who repeatedly saves the world from a robot-obsessed mad scientist. Both Mega Man and Sonic have had numerous comic and cartoon adaptations. At one point, the prolific Archie Comics owned the comic rights to both of them. Mega Man and Sonic have crossed over in the Archie Comics crossovers, such as in Worlds Collide. And, as mentioned, Sonic competes against Mario in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Ryu and Ken, 2 degrees. The two karate guys that represent the major fighting franchise, Street Fighter by Capcom. I'm listing them together because their paths to Mario are exactly the same. Ryu and Ken fight Pac-Man in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and Pac-Man races Mario in Mario Kart Arcade GP. Bayonetta, 2 degrees. Bayonetta first appeared in her self-titled game on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Nintendo now exclusively publishes the sequels, but as a Platinum Games creation that was not originally platform exclusive, she can still be considered a guest character. In any case, she's pretty easy to connect to Mario. Bayonetta summons Bowser when wearing Peach's or Daisy's outfits, which are exclusive to the Wii U and Switch versions of Bayonetta. Bowser has faced Mario in numerous games ever since Super Mario Bros. Simon Belmont, 3 degrees. The original Castlevania protagonist is Simon Belmont. Back in the NES days, he was definitely popular, even securing a spot as a major character in Captain N the Game Master. Okay, the D cartoon version is just ridiculous. But if we can just put Captain N aside for a second, Simon's only a few steps away from Nintendo's actual main man, Mario. Simon Belmont and Bomberman both appear in the Japanese GameCube game DreamX TV World Fighters. Bomberman and Wario try to blow each other up in the Game Boy game Wario Blast, featuring Bomberman. Also on the Game Boy, Wario made his debut as a villain of Mario's in Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. Solid Snake, 4 degrees. Konami's Solid Snake from Metal Gear was the very first guest character ever announced, appearing in the teaser for Super Smash Bros. Brawl at the end of the first day of E3 2006, which was the one E3 I have attended. And even though there are Mario and Yoshi figurines in the Twin Snakes, which is the GameCube remake of the first Metal Gear Solid, his real connection to Mario, again without Super Smash Bros., actually lies in the sequel. Solid Snake meets Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Raiden and Toro, the Sony Cat, fight each other in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Toro and Pac-Man are both guest characters in the PlayStation versions of Street Fighter X Tekken. Pac-Man races Mario in Mario Kart Arcade GP. Cloud, 4 degrees. One of the biggest surprises was when Square Enix's Cloud from Final Fantasy VII was announced for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS.
Dude! Dude! How the is this real? How is it real? He wasn't even on a Nintendo game!
As the protagonist of the first main series Final Fantasy game that did not originally appear on a Nintendo console, which gave the original PlayStation a huge boost in sales, some have thought that his inclusion in Nintendo's big crossover series was a mismatch. But, like it or not, he's here, and now that Super Smash Bros. Is turning into a who's who of video games, why not?
It's done! Smash Brothers is like the greatest game ever made!
Though, even apart from Super Smash Bros., he's still connected to Mario. Cloud fights alongside all the other major and minor Final Fantasy characters, including Final Fantasy XV's Noctis and Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Noctis is a guest character in Tekken 7 and faces Tekken characters like Heihachi. Heihachi and many other Tekken characters are included, along with another Namco character, Pac-Man, in Street Fighter X Tekken. And Pac-Man once again races Mario in Mario Kart Arcade GP. Are we tired of Street Fighter X Tekken yet? In this case, we can replace the Heihachi Pac-Man link with Pac-Man Fever on the GameCube and PS2, if you prefer. Richter Belmont, 5 degrees. The Belmont family spans multiple generations of vampire hunters, and a century after Simon Belmont is Richter, who only needs 2 additional steps. Richter Belmont is with Maria Renard in the Castlevania games that he appears in as guardian, friend, or fiancé, depending on the game. Their first game together was Castlevania, Rondo of Blood. Maria faces many other time-displaced Castlevania characters, including Simon Belmont, in Castlevania Judgment. From here we can follow Simon's path for the remaining 3 steps. So, once again, DreamWorks TV Road Fighters, Wario Blast featuring Bomberman, and Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. And there we go! All these non-Nintendo characters in Super Smash Bros. Are already just a few degrees of separation from Mario anyway, so the Super Smash Bros. Series didn't have to stretch far into the shared multiverse to gather them together. When Nintendo reviews the remaining 5 characters that make up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's DLC, I expect they will also be popular characters that might already have connections to Nintendo's main man. So, who do you think they will be? Will they be so far out that maybe I won't be able to connect them to Mario? I guess we'll see. This has been the 4th episode of the Geek Fiction Multiverse. Be sure to check out the previous 3. If you'd like to see more of this, comment below with who you'd like to see me try to connect. And if you enjoy this or any of my other content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, see ya!